Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Royal number IVHP23 US5. This is a jumbo heavy-duty hinge pin doorstop with a removable nylon bushing, oxidized satin brass. It's a hinge pin doorstop is what it is. This would be considered, of the hinge pin doorstops, the heavy-duty version. This is also the one that you can force to work on a 4.5 inch by 4.5 inch hinge. Very occasionally you might have to ream or drill that hole out a little bit to make that work, but we're going to go over that in a moment. This is in the, what the US5 would be antique brass. They're calling it oxidized satin brass, but when you look at it on the camera, this is what you're getting, so keep that in mind. This is exactly what it looks like. Antique brass, it's complimentary, certainly. I wouldn't expect an exquisite antique brass, because it's the base material is not brass itself, so I wouldn't expect very much from it being exactly equal to satin, antique brass. Now, it's heavy duty because it is simply more robust, the steel is thicker, the design is more capable of handling a larger or heavier door compared to others that are available. It's also set with a screw and nut situation, or ability to set the point of stop, and that is adjusted, as you can see, from those holes and the little tab that's sticking out, where you can accommodate securely and then tightening the screw exactly where you want the hold open, the stop to occur. Okay. This is at its minimum. You can kind of see, if this is flat, this is just guessing about 80 degree. So you could make the door stop at not even all the way open. And they do not give a range in the extended description for the degree minimum and maximum, but we can kind of gauge it here on the camera. So now you can see when this is flat, that's 90. You can see you're going to be pushing 125 degrees, something in that range. Okay, so that door will get out past 90, and then go back a bit as well. So that's unscientifically what you're dealing with. This is comparable to the Ives 69F series material, which would be considered the industry standard for such an item. I've got that separated to the point where I'm going to remove the plastic bushing, only because I want to tell you the inside diameter of the piece so that you know exactly what size pin will fit, or at least have an idea of what this inside dimension is. 0.332 inch. 0.332. So if your pin is 5/16, it's probably going to fit. The nylon bushing that's there, that has an inside dimension of 0.250, so 1/4 inch. So 1/4 or 5/16, with a residential weight hinge, something that's like about 95 thousandths of an inch thick. You would probably use that bushing, certainly. And if you had a commercial weight hinge, like a standard duty commercial weight hinge, whether it be 130 thousandths, 134 thousandths, 123 thousandths, in that range, you'll probably have to remove that bushing. Okay. Now, the unit is available in additional finishes, and I'd like to tell you what those are now as we work our way through the partial logic of this video. And I have those finish options pulled up here so we can go over it. This is going to be available in US 10B for oil rubbed bronze, US 15 for, and I'm looking at it on a monitor, US 15 for satin nickel, US 15A for antique nickel, US 26 for polished chrome, 26D for satin chrome, US3 for polished brass and US5 for antique brass. So 7 finishes in total that you can get on that material. How are you going to install this? Well, you're going to probably have the door in the closed position would be my suggestion. Carefully remove the pin from the top hinge. You'll generally see it on the top hinge. Reinsert the pin down through the hole, then reinsert the entire assembly back down. You may want the door in the closed position because if the door were to move at all when you remove that pin, it won't move very far. And then it'll be easier to take your hand and lift the handle up regardless to be able to then push that pin down through it. That would be how I always do it. Okay. Then of course you will determine your degree of stop and then set the degree accordingly with the nut and with the screw and the bolt. Now, I'm not a fan of hinge pin door stops because they're not the proper way to stop the door. However, in lots of instances, they're the only way to stop the door realistically. If you have a light-duty application, a residential application, you don't expect any vandalism or abusive use. There will be nothing wrong with a hinge pin door stop because really all this is doing is preventing it from going too far. In doing so in such a way that the bumpers will compress slightly, not cause damage to the face of the casing or to the face of the door by putting a lot of pressure down onto what is, basically a half-inch diameter face. And it'll work. It'll work just fine. However, if you have an application where you're going to maybe have a hollow core door and there's a possibility that the door will be hyperextended, you can expect that this is going to rupture through the face of that door. Or you can expect that. I've even seen scenarios where the casing was literally, the stop pushed so hard on the casing that it bent the casing out and off the door. And over time and over years of that sort of behavior, you're going to see an ill-fitting door or an improperly attached frame damage to the face of the door or to the face of the casing. There are pieces of hardware that are elegantly appropriate for solving the problem, however, which are called overhead stops, by the way. However, those are costly, usually not thought about ahead of time, and is beyond the skill set and the desire of most regular homeowners to want to get involved in. This is inexpensive, and in non-abusive applications will solve the problem. That's all there is to it. Okay. There is a link below this video to a document called Cut Sheet, which I may have mentioned earlier. Adjustable angle setting. It does call out that you can use it on 3.5, 4, and 4.5 inch hinges. It talks about the plastic bushing, removing it for a thicker grade hinge, comparable to the IVHP23 architectural finishes available. They're not architectural, they're compatible finishes, I would call it, because those finishes would be made on, on steel, of course, but generally on a piece of hardware that would be made of brass. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Cal Royal products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, along with a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Cal Royal, this is their part number IVHP23 and a US5 finish, a hinge pin door stop, or any other Cal Royal product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.